You're not broken. You're not weak. What you are is mentally exhausted, not because something is wrong with you, but because your mind was never designed to process this much input, this fast, all the time. The endless scrolling, notifications, demands, expectations, it's not natural, and it's not sustainable. Your nervous system is on constant high alert, like a soldier in a war zone that never ends. You think you're tired because you're unmotivated? No, you're tired because your brain has never had the chance to breathe. This isn't some self-help cliche about believing in yourself. This is a neurological crisis. Your mind is overstimulated, and when that happens, clarity dies. Focus dies. Emotional regulation goes out the window. You start to mistake noise for urgency, and distraction becomes your default state. You can't think clearly because your brain is constantly reacting instead of reflecting. And if you don't consciously hit the brakes, the mental chaos doesn't just burn you out, it quietly erodes your sense of self. So let's get one thing straight. This isn't about motivation. This is about survival. This is about reclaiming your mental clarity before your thoughts devour you. You don't need more effort, you need less noise, less distraction, less chaos. Because the ability to think clearly, to feel grounded, to know who you are, that only happens in silence, in stillness. And if you're not creating that space, then yeah, the world will keep spinning you until you forget what it feels like to be centered. Let's break it down. Every single day your brain is under siege. Notifications pull at your attention before you even get out of bed. Messages demand responses. Opinions flood your feed. Tasks pile up. Everyone wants a piece of your focus, and you give it away without resistance. Scroll after scroll, ping after ping. You might think this is just normal life, but no, this is mental warfare. Your mind was never meant to process this much, this fast. You've conditioned yourself to chase dopamine like a lab rat. One hit after another, TikTok, Instagram, emails, texts, group chats, YouTube, more. Your attention span? Shot. Your baseline energy? Drained. You've trained your brain to expect instant stimulation and constant input, and now silence feels like withdrawal. And the cost? You've lost your ability to sit with your own thoughts without trying to escape them. So when you say you feel anxious, restless, numb, or disconnected, it makes perfect sense. Your nervous system is fried. It's constantly activated, constantly on edge, constantly reacting. You're living in fight or flight, not because there's danger, but because your brain never gets to reset. You can't feel calm because you've made hyperstimulation your baseline. You're not broken, but you are burning out. This isn't a personal failure. It's a physiological overload. Your brain was designed for survival in the wild, scanning for real threats, handling one task at a time, then resting. It wasn't designed for the digital jungle. It wasn't built for 10 open tabs, background music, Slack messages, and 3 social media platforms running simultaneously. You think you're multitasking, but what you're really doing is fragmenting your awareness until you lose your center entirely. You're not dysfunctional. You're overstimulated, and that's a critical distinction. Dysfunction implies something is wrong with you, but what's wrong is the environment you're drowning in. And until you create intentional space to disconnect, to reset your system, to reclaim stillness, you'll keep mistaking burnout for weakness and distraction for reality. The problem isn't you. The problem is that you've never truly stopped. Modern culture has hardwired you to chase a lie. Do more. Be more. Know more. Want more. From the moment you wake up, the message is clear. You're not enough yet. You need to hustle harder, stack goals, consume more information, stay updated, stay relevant. Rest? That's laziness. Silence? That's wasted time. The system profits from your anxiety, and you feed it with your attention. But here's the truth no one tells you. Your mind is not built for more. Endless input doesn't make you smarter. It makes you scattered. Constant striving doesn't make you stronger. It makes you frantic. You're trying to download the entire world into your brain while ignoring the fact that your nervous system has limits. Your mental bandwidth isn't infinite, and pretending it is will cost you everything: clarity, peace, and eventually your sense of self. You don't need another life hack. You don't need 5 more productivity tools or 6 new podcasts. What you need is less noise, less comparison, less chasing, less performing. The very thing you're afraid to do, slow down, shut off, step back, is the thing your mind is begging for. But that feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? Because without the noise, you're left with yourself. And you've forgotten how to sit with that. This isn't about being passive. It's about being precise. You're not trying to escape life, you're trying to live it clearly. Clarity doesn't come from adding more on top of the chaos. It comes from subtraction, from stripping away the unnecessary, the fake urgency, the constant stimulation. Think of your mind like a whiteboard. If you never erase what's written, there's no room for new insight. You don't need more space. You need to clear the damn board. Here's the hard truth. If you keep chasing more, you'll keep feeling like less. That's the trap. And it doesn't matter how smart you are or how disciplined you think you've been. If you don't cut through the noise will own you. So stop asking what else you should do. Ask what you're willing to remove. Because peace isn't found by climbing higher. It's found by letting go. Let's stop pretending we don't see it. Overstimulation isn't abstract. It's real. And it's wrecking your day-to-day life whether you admit it or not. You sit down to work, and 5 minutes later your hand's already reaching for your phone. You bounce between tabs, check your notifications mid-conversation, half-read 3 articles, and finish none. Your attention span has been hijacked, not by weakness, by chronic digital overload. You scroll for hours but retain nothing. You read headlines, not content. You consume more than ever, but feel emptier than ever. You're full of information, but starving for insight. You think staying informed is productive, but what you're really doing is feeding your anxiety with a fire hose of noise. Constant input, zero digestion. And that's the mental equivalent of eating garbage every day and wondering why you feel like shit. And here's the kicker. You're tired, but not from work, not from movement. You're exhausted because your brain never stops spinning. You wake up tired, you go to bed wired. You're mentally on all day, chasing thoughts that don't go anywhere. Even when your body is still, your mind is sprinting. You call it stress, you call it being busy. But what it really is burnout. Not from effort, from fragmentation. Your sleep sucks. You either can't fall asleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night with your brain on loop. Your rest is shallow. Your dreams are cluttered. Why? Because your mind doesn't know how to shut off. It's never been trained to return to baseline. You stimulate it all day, and then expect it to magically calm down at night. That's not how nervous systems work. You're not just tired, you're chemically out of balance. And here's the most dangerous part. Most people have no idea this is happening to them. They normalize it. They think, maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. No, what they're feeling isn't personal failure. It's cognitive burnout. But because burnout doesn't look dramatic, no breakdown, no hospital trip, it hides in plain sight. And the longer you ignore it, the deeper it sets in. Here's the part nobody likes to hear. The fix is boring. It's not flashy. It's not fun, and it's definitely not fast. There's no viral app, no smart drug, no clever productivity hack that's going to rescue you from this mental chaos. Because what you're dealing with isn't a lack of tools, it's a lack of boundaries. You're not missing information, you're missing discipline. That's the real medicine, and it tastes bitter going down. The solution? Radical simplification. Start by disconnecting. 2 hours a day, no phone. Not airplane mode, not do not disturb, but off. Let your mind panic. Let it detox. Then go outside. No music, no podcast, no distractions. Just you and silence. Sounds extreme? Good. That's the point. You've trained your nervous system to run on chaos. Now you have to retrain it to run on stillness. That requires discomfort. Face it. Take cold showers. Not for Instagram, not for toughness, but to show your nervous system that discomfort isn't a threat, it's a teacher. Lower your caffeine intake, because most of your anxiety is just chemical overload disguised as personality. Cut your screen time in half, then cut it again. These aren't optional tweaks. These are baseline resets. Without them, you're just rearranging furniture in a burning house. Start journaling, not to impress yourself, not to optimize your morning, but to clear mental trash. Your thoughts need somewhere to land other than your head. Write down what you're obsessing over, what you're avoiding, what you're pretending not to care about. Make it ugly. Make it honest, because clarity isn't found in your mind. It's extracted from it through effort. And if you never stop to unload the chaos, don't expect peace. Bottom line, you don't fix overstimulation with more stimulation. You don't heal mental burnout with another motivational reel. You heal it by building real boundaries, by learning to sit in silence without panicking, by getting brutally honest about your habits. The fix isn't glamorous, it's gritty, and most people will never do it. But if you want your mind back, your clarity back, your life back, this is the price. Stillness, discipline, boundaries, or stay overwhelmed. Your call. Let's get something straight. You're not broken, but you're not innocent either. You've handed over your mind one swipe, one scroll, one distraction at a time. Nobody forced you to do it. You made 100 tiny unconscious choices, and they added up. You let the algorithms shape your attention. You let comparison define your self-worth. You let noise become your normal. And now you're paying the price, in clarity and focus and peace. This isn't about guilt. It's about ownership. Because until you own the fact that you let your mind get hijacked, you'll keep waiting for someone else to save it. And no one's coming. There's no external solution to an internal problem. You're not a victim of tech, you're a participant. You gave your time, your focus, your inner stillness away like it was nothing. Now it's time to take it back, and that requires a level of responsibility most people run from. But here's the truth. Clarity isn't given. It's not built into your phone, and it's not sold in a self-help book. It's earned. Earned by getting quiet when everything in you wants to be distracted. Earned by facing boredom, discomfort, and emptiness without immediately reaching for stimulation. It's earned in the silence where your real thoughts, the ones you've been dodging, finally rise to the surface. And they will rise. And they will be uncomfortable. But that's the threshold. Most people turn back right there. They feel the discomfort and assume something's wrong. No, that's the process. That's you reclaiming territory in your own mind. Every moment you resist distraction is a moment you rebuild inner strength. Every time you choose stillness over stimulation, you sharpen clarity. And over time, that becomes who you are again. Not reactive, not scattered, but centered and unshakable. So here's the final choice. Stay overstimulated, fragmented, mentally enslaved by a system you didn't design or step out. Withdraw from the noise. Earn back your attention. Not through escape, but through effort. This is the work. Not flashy, not fun. But it will give you your mind back. And in a world that profits off your mental chaos, clarity is rebellion. In conclusion, if your mind feels like it's drowning, don't run from it. Reset it. Stop trying to push through the fog with more noise, more input, more distraction. That's what got you here in the first place. Silence isn't the enemy, it's the cure. Strip away what's not essential. Start listening to your nervous system instead of ignoring it. Your peace isn't some luxury, it's your baseline for survival. And right now, it's under attack. You have a choice. Stay overstimulated and fragmented, or take the hard road back to mental clarity. Don't wait for a breakdown to force you into change. Start now. Build boundaries like your sanity depends on it, because it does. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming present again. If you felt this, do something with it. Turn off your phone. Go outside. Be still. And if you want more like this raw, unfiltered mental clarity, subscribe. This isn't self-help. It's self-reclamation.